What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tea Time with Tarah. Guess what, y'all? We have a special for the day. Okay, all the way from North Carolina, my friend Timothy Stewart of Talk Man Talk, speaking to inspire, is joining us today. For those of you all who do not know who I am Tarah M. Williams. I was getting ready to say the voice of faith, hope, love, and leadership, but that's me on the radio, all right? So I am Tarah M. Williams, life coach, chaos coordinator, and various or multi-published author. And I'm your host for today. If you haven't already, y'all, please go over to my YouTube page at Stalk Your Destiny. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video with somebody who needs to be inspired, who needs to be motivated. Somebody who may be trying to find their way in life, y'all. Share the video, chime in, comment below, let us know what you think. If you hear some things that Tim is saying, let us know your thoughts, okay? Don't be shy about commenting. Don't be shy about sharing, okay? This is the Tea Time with Tarah special with Tim Stewart of Talk Man Talk, speaking to inspire, y'all. Let's get into it. Put things in their proper place. And when you put things in their proper place, then you're able to see how much more time you have to focus on other things. And if your professional life, if your business life, if you're trying to make a life for yourself, if those things are not in order, then stop rushing to the comfort of a dependent person. Stop rushing to lean on someone else if you are not taking care of your own situation, your own life. That's a really, really big distraction because we all want and need the social connection in terms of another person, in terms of love and endearment, those types of things, companionship. We need those things, but put them in proper place. And there's a saying, I think I've said it before, do what you have to do so that you can do what you want to do. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome, Tim, to my set. Welcome to the Lou.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Doing great. Excited to be here. Finally get a chance to meet the one and only Tarah M. Williams.
Yes.
Our paths crossed some years ago, and finally to put that voice and that energy in the same room, man, I'm very grateful and I'm honored. So yeah.
Thank you. And it's nice to meet you too, finally. Y'all, listen, Tim is the author of the book Free Yourself from Yourself. Okay. And this is foolproof principles for what now?
Addiction recovery.
For addiction recovery and what else?
Self-government.
And self-government. Okay. So this is his book, Free Yourself from Yourself. How many of y'all need to be free? I just want to know. All right. So we're going to get into talking about his book as well today. But Tim, what brings you all the way to St. Louis and how you like it?
Well, St. Louis is special to me. I came to St. Louis 21 years ago this month. At 40 years old, I was homeless, hopeless, and penniless. I'd had $8 in my pocket, 2 pair of pants, and 2 shirts. That's all I owned on planet Earth. And I had to start all over again. I came from New York. I had been in rehab 11 times.
Wow. Okay.
11 times. And it was like, I needed to get out of New York. If I didn't get out of New York, I felt like I was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, my mom told me, she said, son, she said, you know, I'll always love you. I don't love how you living, but I want you to know I bought a $10,000 insurance policy to bury you with because you ain't going to make it.
Okay.
So, you know, when your mom tells you something like that,
Yeah.
it's time to do something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a one-way ticket. I actually bought a one-way ticket to California, and I got scared. And the bus stopped in Indianapolis. And when we were ready to board the next bus, it had St. Louis on it. And I said, man, Fred Sanford always talked about going back to St. Louis. I said,
Yeah.
that's where I'm going. And Tarah, I landed here, and I didn't know a soul. But the people in St. Louis, man, they wrapped their arms around me. I went through another treatment center.
Uh-huh.
I needed a place to stay.
Yeah. Well.
I needed 3 hots and a cot, right? And I started getting some recovery. The recovery network in St. Louis is bigger than any other city I've ever been in.
Okay.
I just looked at the meeting list last night
Mm-hmm.
because I'm making some meetings while I'm here.
Okay.
And man, it was amazing the number of meetings that happened here in St. Louis. And so coming back to St. Louis is always special for me.
Uh-huh.
And so, especially this month, because I'm having an anniversary, 21 years, clean and sober.
Uh-huh.
21 years. And
Congratulations.
yeah, I'm proud about it, but I still do this deal one day at a time.
Can I see that pen?
Yes.
Thank you.
You don't like my pen?
You'll like the video better.
She took my pen, y'all.
Yeah, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Okay. But 21 years clean and sober.
Yeah.
And, you know, what I find amazing is that you said you had been to rehab 11 times,
Uh-huh.
you know, and when we go forward in our purpose and things, like people give up. You just give up, you know,
Yeah.
but you didn't give up. You were still relentless in your pursuit. Even if you weren't 100% sure that that's what you wanted for yourself, you know,
Uh-huh.
sometimes we want to be free, but we really don't want to be free.
Yeah.
And so I think that tenacity, you know, it's kind of like with Stalk Your Destiny. You didn't give up. You literally went after it relentlessly.
Well, I wish that was true, but I did give up, right?
Mm-hmm.
A couple times because the program says 3 times and it's it. You're either in the jail, in the cemetery, or you just ain't gonna quit, right?
Oh.
But man, I kept going because I had this thing. I didn't want this thing to beat me. I've always been a competitor, right?
Yes.
You know, my Talk Man Talk is behind Michael Jordan. When Mike came into the league, he was Jump Man Jump.
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna be Talk Man Talk. And so, but what happened was, man, I said this when I left New York, I had a daughter, and her name is Raven. That's why you see on the front of the book, on the front of my book cover, are ravens, right? And for some reason, she was that catalyst for me that says, I got to give this thing one more shot. And it wasn't that I wanted to live or I wanted to change my life. You know what it was, Tarah? I didn't want my daughter to grow up and people say, you know, your dad's a crackhead.
Yeah, because you know they will, especially in the loop.
What? What?
Especially in
anywhere,
the loop.
Right? And so that was the motivation for me. And, you know, I it wasn't like I wasn't I hadn't been introduced to the information. But what happened was what I discovered when I got here, I had a revelation. Okay. At Jefferson Barracks, right? I was in a lot of pain. I was hurting emotionally. I was bankrupt physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, bankrupt. And I had a vision, a revelation of drugs and alcohol not your problem. And I'm sure that had been said before, but it resonated to me. Okay, I've been fighting the wrong battle. I've been trying to stay away from the problem. Yeah. I've been trying to stay away from the drug, the people, places, and things, as they say. But I didn't want to accept that I was the problem right here.
Yeah.
I was and I had some success in life. I've been in the Air Force. I've traveled across the world.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in corporate America, and now I'm homeless, hopeless, and penniless.
Yeah.
Something is wrong, right? And so the people in St. Louis started teaching me how to love myself before I started learning how to love myself. They taught me. I still had the same sponsor that I had when I started.
20 years ago?
20 years ago. I'm hanging out with him tomorrow. We're going to hang out, have some lunch, make a meeting.
Yes.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to him. I got some very dear friends here in St. Louis, and especially in the recovery network. And, so St. Louis will always be dear to me.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing in my life now is really no longer about me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's about sharing my experience, strength, and hope with other people, because I can't go back, Tarah.
Yeah.
I can't go back and change nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not the divorce, not being there for my daughters, not the bankruptcy, not the loss of job. None of that can I change.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if I can take my hard-won experience and share it with someone, a future generation, or even somebody older than me, and help them avoid some of the pitfalls that I've gone through, then it makes everything that I've gone through worth it.
Okay. Well, let's go back a little bit. Let's tell the people who you are. Because who are you? What is Talk Man Talk? Like, who is Tim Stewart?
Okay.
Who is this guy?
Tim Stewart, aka Talk Man Talk, speaking to inspire. As Talk Man Talk, I speak to inspire, motivate, and educate people from every walk, focusing on 12 principles to inner peace and common unity for happier, healthier, and safer communities in which to live, work, and play.
Okay.
See, the 12 principles I promote: honesty, hope, faith, courage, integrity, willingness, humility, discipline, forgiveness, acceptance, awareness, and gratitude. Those 12 principles are laws, if you will. That's what a principle is a law.
Okay.
Prince means first. So Prince, first law. Those laws are eternal. They were here when we got here. They'll be here when we leave. Mankind did not create those. They are, how do you say? They are inherent.
Okay.
Right? They were here when we got here, built in. They are universal. They will work anywhere. They are non-partial. They will work for anybody.
Yeah, as long as you apply it.
And guess what? They are permanent. So that's what the program introduced me to these principles. And so I've taken these principles and I've explained them in a way that anybody can use them. You don't have to be addicted to drugs, because these principles represent the most powerful government on the planet. Self-government is the most powerful government on the planet. And what's so unique and the beauty about these principles is they will work for you and I individually, but they will also work for you and I together.
Collectively,
Collectively. And so that is, like, when we look at what's happening in our society today, especially with our future generations, they need some help. A large majority of them need some help. And that is my passion, because I know where I went wrong, right? If you catch them, how can I say this? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to take the program, these principles, and use them as a proactive approach.
Okay.
Versus a reactive approach. Right? You picture, this is the vision I have in my head, Tarah. You take Johnny and Sally. They are in junior school, junior high school.
Junior high, middle school.
Middle school, right? Johnny lives on one side of town, Sally lives on the other side of town. But in both of their schools, they see these principles.
Okay.
Every day, they're walking down the hall, people are talking about them. When they are being, having a conversation for corrective action, these principles are what's used to help correct the behavior, right? So now Johnny and Sally are familiar with these principles, and they are learning to practice them, make them habits, because, we don't dictate our future. We
Right.
decide our habits, and our habits dictate our future.
Right.
Right? And so now Johnny and Sally are understanding these principles, and they are practicing them in their life. We practice them. We don't get them perfect. Right?
Right.
We practice these, and we practice them in every area of our life.
Mhm.
So now Johnny meets Sally on college campus.
Right.
Well, both Johnny and Sally are familiar with these principles, and now they want to get into a relationship. Right? Now, because they have been introduced to these principles, they've been practicing them. They are habits. Now, when they start talking about forming a relationship, it's based on these principles.
Right. And they have the foundation
The foundation,
to stand
the
on.
common ground, right?
Mhm.
So now Sally understands, and I was just thinking about this. I shared it in a meeting last night. One of the biggest things that these principles have helped me to do, and I'm still learning, I'm still practicing, is give me a clear conscience.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. We have people in our society that will look you in your face and tell you something that's not true.
Absolutely.
And have no conscience. It doesn't even bother them
At all.
at all, right? When you start practicing these principles, it won't allow you to do that. You can't get rest. When because, we've been doing business for a while.
Yeah.
We're friends, but business, we do business.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting ready to let you walk around and say, I didn't do business with integrity with you.
Right. Yeah, because that's gonna, that would ruin the partnership anyway.
The relationship and the brand.
Yeah.
Neither one of us can grow like that.
Right.
So now Johnny and Sally, they are engaging in this relationship where the foundation are these principles. Now, guess what? They get married.
Mm-hmm.
And they start having a family.
Right.
And this whole household and this family that is founded on these principles.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty, hope, faith, courage, integrity, willingness, humility, discipline, forgiveness, acceptance, awareness, and gratitude. And so now this family is founded on these principles, and now you have families that come together and they make communities.
Right. Do me a favor too, and look in your camera and tell them what the principles are again.
Okay. She will give some directives, and I love it, right? Because she wants to see the best for me. Thank you.
Yes.
Honesty, hope, faith, courage, integrity, willingness, humility, discipline, forgiveness, acceptance, awareness, and gratitude. Those are the 12 principles to inner peace. And common unity for happier, healthier, and safer communities in which to live, work, and play.
Thank you. We got to talk to the people sometimes.
Right.
Now, do this for me too. Let's bridge this gap here, okay? Because we got Tim Stewart, recovery, and then we got Talk Man Talk.
Right.
Okay? So, for us who's one on this journey with you right now, how did you go from recovery to this is Tim Stewart, man, aka Talk Man Talk, speaking to inspire. How did you?
That's a great question. She surprised me with this one. So I've been in St. Louis. I started out at the homeless shelter in the Overflow.
Okay.
Give Salvation Army a plug here. They provided a place for me to get on my feet, right?
Okay.
And along with the love that I received from the people, I started making some progress in my life. So 5 years later, I've met my wife at that time, and we are married. And 5 years later, I've gone from the homeless shelter to a 2,400 square foot home,
Okay.
a $250,000 home, right? And I was walking around one Saturday morning. I remember like it happened yesterday. And she had gone to work, and it was a Saturday morning, man, and the house was just, it was like it was like this time of the year. And I had a cup of coffee, and I was like, I've never been clean and sober this long in my life. What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And I had this revelation. You always like sharing information. Why don't you become a speaker?
You definitely a talker.
And I said,
Definitely a talker.
I said, yeah. And that's when I said, well, I followed Michael. Michael came in the league. He was jump man jump. I said, I'm going to be talk man talk. And at the same time, I had an epiphany. And I remember being back in the first and second and third grade.
Okay.
And I stayed in trouble all the time.
Okay.
Being sent to the chalkboard, put my nose in a circle with my hands behind my back in front of the class. They don't do that nowadays. But
okay.
And guess what I stayed in trouble for?
For what? Talking.
See, here's the deal,
Mhm.
Tarah. Everything. I get goosebumps when I start talking about this because it was such a game changer in my thought process. Everything comes to this planet with a gift trapped inside of it.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna define gift, right? For our audience. Okay. So when I say gift, here's what I mean so that we can be on the same page. It is the inherent capacity. Every word is important.
Yes.
Inherent means built in. The inherent capacity to fulfill a function that meets a need in creation.
Okay.
Your gift is not for you.
No.
Your gift is for me.
Right.
My gift is not for me. Everything. A bird comes here with a gift of flight already in it. Nobody puts flight in a bird.
Right.
A fish comes here with a gift to swim already in it. Nobody puts swim in a fish.
Right.
Right? They never attend swimming lessons.
Right.
A mango seed. The gift trapped inside of a mango seed is a mango tree.
Mm-hmm. So everything you want to become, you already are.
That's what you said. You said that today.
Stalk your destiny.
That's because it's built in.
Yep.
When you buy an iPad, everything you need for that iPad to function properly is in it when you buy it.
Yeah.
They don't come by your house and add stuff in it at night when you sleep. It already has everything needed.
Excuse me.
You okay?
Yes, I'm sorry.
So now here's the thing about the mango seed, Tarah. You can take that mango seed and sit it on your kitchen counter. And it'll sit there for 35 years and the tree will remain trapped inside the seed. It won't come out. Why?
Because you sat on it.
It's on the wrong environment.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong environment. Environments matter.
Yeah.
Right? Now, take that same seed, drop it in some soil, give it some moisture and sunlight, boom, here comes a tree that was trapped inside the seed.
Right.
Well, that's what
because it's had the space to grow.
That's what we want to create, right? With these 12 principles, we want to create the right environment, right? So that people can identify their gift and discover their purpose.
So you wanted to change lives.
Hello.
You wanted to change lives. So you made a decision that while you were changing your life and on your journey, that you were going to use your voice. Because y'all, Tea Time with Tarah, we believe you have a voice and it needs to be heard.
That's right.
And so you decided to use your voice to be the change or trajectory for change in someone else's life.
Absolutely. And what that did was that kind of, at that point, I felt like now I had a purpose. See, when a human being discovers their purpose, now they have a sense of significance.
Right.
It's a source of value.
Yeah.
Now, because you handle a ring that comes out of a Cracker Jack box differently than you handle a 10-carat diamond ring.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
They're both rings. Why do we handle them different?
The value.
The value.
Come on. Look, going to the next level of things now.
Right.
Why is value important to purpose?
Because it gives us purpose gives us vision, right?
Okay.
That's our purpose in pictures is called vision. And vision gives us discipline. The reason discipline and value are connected is because when I understand my purpose and I see that vision, I see me speaking on stage.
Right.
All across this country, right?
Yes.
To me as a people. Now there's certain decisions I won't make.
Right, because you have to do what it takes.
Because I'm not going to jeopardize my value.
Yeah.
Just like that 10-carat diamond ring.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit it up on the kitchen table and people walking about. No, you're going to put it in that special little box.
Right.
You're going to know where it's at all times.
Yeah.
That's how value connects to purpose.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, but for those listening, can you give us another example of how value connects to purpose and how we can derail that if we don't take hold of it? Because even with you doing the rehab and deciding years later, like I want to use my voice, I want to speak to inspire. You very well were derailing your own.
Yeah, but see,
You
I
know
didn't know it.
exactly. So let us know in a different way or just another way of how value matters to your purpose.
Because if I don't understand my value, then I will make decisions that, to your point, will derail my purpose, right?
Mhm.
We see it in our younger society. It's unfortunate that we see the opioid epidemic. We
Yeah.
see
Fentanyl.
the crime, the violence in our school
Yeah.
systems. We see the high divorce rate. See, these principles will impact all of that,
Yes.
right? I'm from the country,
I heard it. I
from
heard
the
it coming
root.
out. Heard it coming out.
And that's what we have to do. And one of the things, when you talk about value is it gives us a sense of pride.
Okay.
And without understanding our value, I may look any kind of way. I may carry myself
Yep.
any kind of way. I may treat you any kind of way because I don't have any pride about myself.
Yeah.
I don't care,
Mhm.
right? And we see that. And it's unfortunate that we have a lot of people in our society today who have not discovered their purpose.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Tara, that I love so much, not because I've been given this mission, right?
Uh-huh.
I understand my mission today,
Okay.
but it allows me to partner with people like you,
Mhm.
other people, organizations, because I look at it like this. Here's an analogy. You know the best way or the only way to add and subtract fractions?
How?
You have to have a common denominator.
Okay.
So these 12 principles are the common denominators
Uh-huh.
that could connect us. Like Dr. George Fraser says, we have a lot of different stuff, but we haven't connected the dots.
And that's what we do with Stalk Your Destiny.
You connect the dots.
Connecting you to your destiny one step at a time.
Yes.
So I literally tell people, bring me your mess, I'll make your plate.
Right.
Meaning you might be overwhelmed, you might have a lot going on. But if you throw out everything that you have, it's gonna be all these dots. I will literally connect the dots and show you where you're headed. I will show you the picture that you're painting that all you see is the splash on the wall.
Uh-huh.
But I can see the full picture. So of everything connecting.
And that's your gift. And you're
Mhm.
good at it. I've seen you do it, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I've done some business with
Yeah.
you. So I see how thorough you are. That's why we're here.
Yes.
Yeah, I came out to St. Louis
You
to
can
sit
tell
down
it.
with Tarah. I didn't want to sit down with nobody else.
Yeah.
Because, the first interview we did was virtual and it flowed so well and the chemistry was there between us and we had a great conversation.
Yeah.
And so now I'm getting ready to launch my course.
Okay.
Unlock Your Greatness, right? 12 keys to successful college life and beyond.
Well, hold on. Let's go back a little bit first before
Okay.
we jump into that.
Okay.
Because we're gonna get there. We're building it up. We about to
Okay.
get there in just a second. So, funny thing, you keep mentioning purpose and value.
Uh-huh.
Purpose and value are two of the ABCs to stalk your destiny.
Okay.
Okay. So, with that, I want to ask you, what is your value? Because now I'm asking because I had a guest on my show,
Mm-hmm.
and value was what she needed to stalk her destiny as well. And on
Mhm.
that show, I had mentioned about a painting and how a painting could be trash to someone, to one person, and to the next person could be worth millions.
Okay.
And so it's really on the value we place on it.
Right.
And so I was just asking her as well. I'm asking you now, what is your value?
My gift is speaking, and my value is my gift is being able to explain information. You've been in college, so you understand, there's some professors, they will cover the information. And you sit there and you listen to them, and it's like, I don't understand nothing he's saying. or she's saying, but then someone can come in who is able to break it down so that you can understand it. Because without understanding, there can be no application. And that's my gift, right? So I've been in admissions, college admissions, for over 20 years.
Okay.
Right? And I started here in St. Louis, right?
Okay.
And I'm still in it. And I've been the number one advisor, like with the organization I'm at now. I've been there for 5 years. I've been the top advisor for 3 years in a row.
Okay.
Number
Awesome.
one is because I'm able to unpack stuff. I'm able to understand. People want to go to school, typically the people that I work with are adults who are looking to do a career change, or they're just tired of their current situation.
Okay.
I understand pain. So I could connect with them. Identification is powerful.
Yeah, now see, you get into more of the ABCs to Stalk Your Destiny.
We've always known that our visions and our missions were similar, right? And I think that is one of the things that kind of connected us together, right? And we brainstorm, iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
I watch your stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so and that's one of the things about
And thank you.
being honest, right? I can be honest with myself and know that I don't know everything. I can learn. I can be open-minded and still absorb new information, right? So that I can become better and my value will increase with the people that we reach.
Yeah,
right?
the more in tune you are with your identity, with self, then the more you can place value on your life and the more you can walk in purpose.
Our true value is, you ready for this?
Okay. Are y'all ready for this?
It's to be a conduit.
Yes.
Most
of change.
Well, a conduit for change, that is true. But most people want to hoard success or material, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to flow through us, right? You ever seen a body of water that's stagnant? It will be stinking and it's cruddy looking.
Yeah.
But when you have a body of water that's constantly flowing,
Yeah.
see, that's what you want. That's what we want. What we do, there's times I don't do this for the accolades. I had somebody close to me a couple months ago, because I've been basically working 2 full-time jobs, right? For the last year and a half, getting this course, creating this course. I work my full-time job. I got to eat, right?
Absolutely.
Right. My mission is important, but I got to eat, right? And so.
And that's still a part of the mission too. Your full-time job is still in alignment.
And I'm still learning. And it's amazing how, when I talk about gift, right? And I'm going to get back to what I was saying is the success, the process for success for any human is to discover the gift, train the gift, and then serve the gift to the world.
Okay. Say it again.
That is to discover the gift.
Number 1, y'all.
Train the gift.
Number 2.
And then serve your gift to the world.
Number 3.
What that's going to do, number 1, is going to give any human being the highest degree of fulfillment in life, because now they are functioning in their purpose.
Okay.
And I didn't say this earlier, but I'm going to say it now. The opposite of purpose. You ready?
Is what?
Abuse.
Ooh.
Abnormal use.
Say that again. The opposite of purpose, y'all, is abuse. Listen, stop abusing people and walk in your purpose.
Stop abusing yourself.
Stop abusing yourself. Like, come on. Okay, I love that. I love that. The opposite of purpose is abuse. Say the rest of it.
Abnormal use.
Yes.
And that's what we see. We see a lot of our younger generation. They all have gifts. They came here with a gift.
Yeah.
But because they haven't been in the right environment.
Yes, and I'm not going to get on that soapbox of how school can take it away from you.
Absolutely, it can. But you know what? We're that future generation. We're that generation, Tarah, that was created to bring about the change.
Yes.
We let's face it. Our society today is different than it was 30, 40 years ago, right? And it hasn't It hasn't improved. It has digressed, if you will.
Yeah.
And so we have to look at today's results and take a look at what we've been doing and say and be honest and say, you know what, that's not working.
Yeah.
That hasn't worked. It's not working. Okay, I know grandmama and big mama and them did this what they did, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
And have the courage, that's one of them principles, to say, you know what, I respect grandmama and big mama and them, but we live in a different world today. We got to do something different.
Okay, give me 1 second. So you guys, do us a favor, okay? Because Tim is just dropping knowledge ball after knowledge ball after knowledge ball after knowledge ball, okay? And so feel free to comment below, like if you want to chime into the conversation, if you have questions that you want to ask to input here. Also, for Tim or I to get back at, on any platform that you've seen this on, let us know what you think about this and how does this matter to you? How can these things so far that you've heard from Tim Stewart, y'all, because he's speaking to inspire, so I hope that you're inspired, but how can you apply what you're hearing right now to your own life? And what changes can you make? It starts with you looking in the mirror. It starts with you being honest with yourself and identifying, some of the things that he pointed out. You got to identify your good habits and your bad habits, your habits that are serving you and your habits that are holding you back or holding you hostage. And so let us know in the comments below, or wherever you're seeing this, that you can comment or just chime into the conversation. Let us know how this is helping you, or how it's affecting you right now, like making you think differently or look at your own life differently. Because listen, Tim, can I say your age?
Yeah.
Tim is 60 years old, guys, and I'm here to tell you, it's never too early, you're never too late to do what you were purposed in the earth to do. Just like love is a currency, water is a currency, money is a currency. And so your gift, as he said, is a currency. So be open to figuring out who you are and be open to relishing in that, because it's for you, because you grow as a human being as you go after your purpose. You grow and you change and you become. Right? You become something you may have never imagined. You become something that maybe you thought of before, you hope to see. And then you're able to share that with the world too, y'all. So really digest what's been said. It's a lot of gems so far. I hope y'all have y'all notebooks. We didn't know y'all was going to need notebooks. But I hope you have your notebooks. I had to take Tim's pen because he wasn't writing, y'all. But I hope y'all have your pens, and I hope that you're writing down what's resonating with you so that you have something to go back to, because you can always come back and watch this interview again. You can always come back and listen to it again, but it's something about putting it on paper that is what happens to actually change your life and your actions. Because when we put it on paper, we hear it in our own minds, we see it again, and we're penning it to our mental capacity, I would say. So be mindful that you should be taking notes here. If it's resonating with you, hopefully it's inspiring you. Comment and just let us know, what is resonating with you, or what you think, or questions you have about what we're talking about so far. And stay tuned. We're still going. All right.
Yeah. That was good and very necessary. And we do want people to understand, and we do want to feel those questions so that and all that get what understanding, right? Because again, without understanding, there could be no application.
Yeah.
And so we look at living in the 21st century. You do a lot of work with leadership.
Yes.
Leadership is not what we have been really taught.
No.
Leadership is quite different. And I won't dive off too much into that, but I love the work that you're doing with leadership, because really everybody's a leader in their area of gifting.
Yes.
Everybody's a leader. We've been taught that, this one person was chosen to be a leader. And I won't even go back to how far that's Greek and Greek philosophy, right?
Okay.
That certain people, because of their skin color or whatever,
or stature,
was supposed to be a leader, and everybody else was a follower. Well, that's not really the case. Everybody's a leader. And guess what? How we can determine what is a true leader? They develop other leaders.
Yeah, and then also too with me doing leadership when I go into the classrooms,
Uh-huh.
um, I usually point out the children who are misfits or they don't want to be active, they don't want to participate,
Yeah.
or they seem like an outcast. And I point them out to show in the classroom that it's not always the straight A student or the teacher's pet or the person that's just so willing to participate who has the leadership capabilities.
Everybody.
But
Yeah.
it's the person, you know, who's the outcast or the misfit is actually showing you leadership in a different way.
Exactly.
You know, they may be a free thinker.
Right.
And so I utilize that and bring those students. I let them know, like, especially if they're disrupting me while I'm teaching, then I let them lead the class. And I have seen students, not kids, young people. I have seen so many young people, because it's been young adults as well, grow their confidence right in front of the entire classroom.
Yeah, because you gave them a different mindset. That's what happened to me, Tarah. When I was sitting out at Jefferson Barracks, man, and I remember it like it happened yesterday. I'm sitting there. I was at the Salvation Army, the homeless shelter. So I had to wait for 2 weeks for a bed to become open for me at the VA. And so when I got to the VA, they bust me over that evening. A bed became available, and everybody had eaten. Right. So they took me to the chow hall to get a plate. There's nobody in there.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there, man. I'm 1,200 miles. Now, remember, I've never been to St. Louis before.
Yeah.
I don't know nobody. Right. I've been homeless before. I've been in treatment before. But now I'm 1,200 miles away from everybody I know.
Yeah.
And the tears start coming down my face. And I was in a lot of pain, man. And I hit my hand on the table. And I said, God, why does this keep happening to me? Why? And that's when I got the revelation. Drugs and alcohol is not your problem.
Yeah.
Your way of thinking is your problem. So when you go in the classroom and you're talking to students, one word, and we heard that you can get one word from the Lord.
Yes. That's
change your whole life.
That's it. One encounter.
Yeah. And the next revelation that I received was words and deeds are just like seed. They always produce after their own kind.
Yes.
Now, that changed my whole philosophy. I had a new operating system. Because, see, I grew up where, look, it was okay to do some wrong, just don't get caught. You didn't do no wrong unless you got caught. Well, that's a bad philosophy.
It is.
But that's what I was taught.
Yeah.
And I believe that because that's the environment. Environments matter.
Yeah.
That I grew up in, right? People were doing all kinds of stuff. And even on the farm, right? When that revelation came through, that's changed my life. That told me that if I want love, I got to give it.
Yeah.
Don't expect, because you cannot. Do you know anybody that can plant an apple seed and get an orange tree?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay, so how I treat you, if I treat you bad, count on it. I got somewhere coming down the lines coming back to me.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm gonna tell you something, man. These principles, right? I practice them in it's one program for every affair. These principles are valid in the boardroom, the locker room, the living room, the bedroom, every room.
Not the bedroom.
Yeah, because, people have conversations in the bedroom and sometimes they don't be honest.
Yeah, very true. Yes, very true.
Sometimes they don't operate with integrity. When I talk about integrity and free yourself from yourself and unlock your greatness, we are commonly here. Integrity is saying what you mean and meaning what you say. Well, guess what? In my program, I take it another definition.
Okay.
It is that my thoughts, my words, and my actions are one. Integrity means one. You know how, you may not remember because you're a youngster. You know how you used to get your cable bill, your internet bill, and your phone bill on one bill?
No, I didn't know you used to get them in one
See,
bill.
that's what I mean. Yeah, Charter.
I mean, I didn't
Yeah,
deal
with
with the
Charter, you
bills.
used to get. Yeah, you could get your internet, your cable, and your phone.
Well, I know you can bundle them,
Yeah,
yeah.
bundle, right?
Mhm.
That's what they call it now. But that means you're getting them on one bill,
Yeah.
right? That's called. It comes from the word integrated,
Yeah.
integrity. It means one. You want me to
Okay.
give you another solid?
Go ahead. Come on, give it.
That same word, integrated, is translated in this book we call the Bible. You know what it's called?
What's it called?
Holy.
Okay.
The Lord thy God is one.
Yes.
Holy.
Mhm.
So integrity is a deep word.
Okay.
You can do business. It don't even matter. Let me tell you something. I have met people, I hate to use this analogy, but I'm going to use it. I have met people selling dope who have more integrity than some people we call leaders.
You know what though? Why would you hate to use that? Because that's real.
It is real.
What
They tell you they're going to bust your head if you don't bring them their money. That's what they mean.
But you know what? But what you do, even in the wrong, does not take away from who you're meant
The
to be.
principles are the same.
Yes, and who you are, your gift is still inside of you.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah,
100%.
and all it takes is one word from them too to change lives positively as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so everybody is a leader in their area of gifting.
Yes. So let me know, Tim, now. Because the last time we interviewed, we talked about Free Yourself from Yourself. And I'm not really sure that we told the people about the book, Free Yourself from Yourself. Did you want to say anything about what this book is about before we go into what you've been doing since our last, what you've been working on since our interview about this book?
You know, the book is, it's kind of like, it's a, how do you say, combination. It is a memoir.
Okay.
And then a self-help book combined.
Okay.
So in the front of the book, I talk about my story.
All right.
Right? And then the second part of the book, I go through the 12 principles, right?
And you have those right here as well. I know you've said them multiple times, but just
these
for
are, and the purpose of these is faith comes by what?
hearing.
And so when we see these, we hear them, right? That's why I have them up in my house, right? You come in my house, you'll see them up in my house because I don't ever want to forget them, right? And it says hearing, it's ongoing. You don't hear it one time, right? If you keep these 12 principles, and I'm gonna look at the audience, I'm telling anybody who has kids, who, you know, is maybe struggling in their life, if you begin to practice these 12 principles, they will give you inner peace. And then you will become more productive in any area in your life. I guarantee it. I've seen it happen. I've lived it, and I've seen it work for thousands of people.
And you'll be able to free yourself from yourself.
Yeah, because we are really our worst enemy. We are really, we are really, I'm a rookie. That's okay.
He was blocking his face, y'all. Okay.
Right. And so, but yeah, what I had to realize, how I came up with this was, I had to stop playing the blame game.
Okay.
I could no longer blame my dad, the things that I thought he should have done, or my mom, because, you know, our relationship wasn't what I thought it should be.
Yeah.
I became a bad boy at an early age. At 7, 8 years old, I started getting in trouble. And, you know, I can say, man, you know, my relationship with my mom wasn't the best because I was constantly embarrassing her. You know, she put some good stuff in me. She really did. You know, before I left to go in the military, I knew how to wash clothes. I knew how to mop floors. I knew how to keep my bathroom clean. I knew how to fold my clothes. She taught me all of that, right? And so, but because I was bad, and then the addiction kicked in, and, you know, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah.
She didn't have to worry about me, right? But today, because of these principles, man, I have a great relationship with my mom.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
It is. It is for me. Because I never wanted to embarrass my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to hurt my mom. Who does that?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was trapped. I was caught up in the grips of active addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to stop. I did. But I didn't know how.
Yeah.
There's people that's watching us, right? They want to change. They do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how. But I can tell them, if you start with these 12 principles, and you can free yourself from yourself.
Right.
Because what I had to do,
I'm gonna hold
Tarah,
this one too
was,
for you.
like I said, I could no longer blame nobody.
Right.
I was the one who kept picking that crack pipe up and putting it to my head. It was my thinking that made me continue to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to free myself from myself.
So now, what have you been working on since then? Because we know you got something else up your
Yeah,
sleeve.
I
You said
mentioned it.
you've
You
been
told me.
working on something for about a year and a half now as well.
So one of the things, that I did, I made a mistake with the book, and I'll go ahead and be very transparent, is I put fail-proof principles for addiction recovery, right?
Okay.
But really the book, anybody can use the book. We're going to revamp the book and change it to principles of self-government, fail-proof
Okay.
principles of self-government, because that's what the book really talks about.
Uh-huh.
It's not just about drugs and alcohol. Excuse me, it's about thinking, changing your thinking, and
Right.
how you can use these 12 principles to change your thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So the next revelation I got was a course,
Okay.
right? And so, the people, I never really even wanted to write a book,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I was told that if you want to be considered an expert, right, you have to become an author. Then you'll become a subject matter expert, a SME. That's what they said. And I read some books for some people who have become, speakers. And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, like, when I read the book, I was like, this is not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a promise to myself I was not going to put out that kind of material. Right.
Okay.
And so it took me 5 years to write that book.
Uh-huh.
I quit twice, but I finished it, right?
Exactly.
I finished it. And so then, I had this revelation of creating a course.
Mm-hmm.
And the course is targeted for high school students
Uh-huh.
and college freshmen
Okay.
to help them identify their gift and discover their purpose.
And you're open for bookings for colleges and high schools, correct? For
Absolutely.
speaking opportunities.
Yes, we have set up the website where people can go unlockyourgreatness.net, unlockyourgreatness.net, and the course is available. As a matter of fact, for the Tea Time Tarah show, we're going to create a discount, right?
Okay.
So for anyone who comes to Tea Time with Tarah and they go to the link that you will have.
We'll have the link, yes.
You'll have your link.
So you can click the link below wherever you're watching this. You can click the link below or comment unlock your greatness in the comments, and we'll send you the link as well.
Absolutely. And so they'll get a discount if they enroll in the course. And the course is designed, as I said, it's targeted for high school students and college freshmen, high school seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many times and so often, Tarah, we've seen it over and over where students start college and they drop out. And being in college admissions, I've seen this so many, many, many times.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is because they didn't have a clear plan of really what they wanted to do before they started.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens, you get in college, okay, away from home, I'm taking these gen ed courses. I already know math. I already know English. Right?
Yes.
And so now it's 2 years of these gen ed classes, and I'm not bashing education by no means. Education, let me put it like this. Education doesn't give you your gift.
No.
Education helps you train your gift, refine your gift. But if you never discover your gift, then you won't even stay there.
Mm-hmm.
So what this course is designed is to help people identify their gift, right? We've got some exercises that you go through in the course. Then that'll give us an indication of what our purpose is, right?
Okay.
Because we were given the gift to fulfill a purpose, right? When a manufacturer is building something, he puts everything into that creation. Purpose is the reason for the creation of a thing, right? When a manufacturer is creating something, a product, they're going to put everything that's needed in that product to fulfill the purpose.
Correct.
That's called the gift, right?
So anybody can actually take the course though, right? Anybody can take the course, y'all. Let's be clear. He targets high school students and college freshmen, but anybody can take the course to unlock your greatness. I was gonna say something else and I lost it too. So I'll come back to that.
But yeah, that's a great point. Anybody can take the course. You know, over the years, I've talked to so many adults who have made a decision to go to college based on an economic potential or based on somebody said, you should be this.
Yeah.
And then they get over into college and now they've invested time and money and now they're miserable because they didn't go back. They didn't go to school for what their gift was.
Correct.
Because they never discovered it and they're miserable. Now, here's the flip side of that. Here's what happens. You go to school, you invest this time and money, and you're doing a job that you hate.
Yeah.
Every day you're going to a job that you hate. That's painful. Guess what we do when we have pain?
Hurt others.
That's one thing, but we medicate.
Yes, we form addictions. Bad habits.
Ding, ding, ding. So we can avoid all of that.
Yeah.
Right? With 12 simple principles.
Yeah, let that be your addiction. Be addicted to the principles of inner peace.
Yes.
Or to inner peace. Be addicted to the ABCs to stalk your destiny. Be addicted to the things that are positive that help you find your way through and to your destiny and your purpose and fulfillment.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I've been in places of employment, right, where it's just the nature. Corporate America can be ruthless sometimes, right? It can be very beneficial, but sometimes when you have people in positions of leadership who are not leaders, they are managers, and control is really their goal, right? I can tell you that these same 12 principles allowed me to navigate through those type of scenarios and situations with full confidence, right? See, when I know I've done the right thing to the best of my ability, my conscience is clear. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. That's important too, because I think that people don't value having a clear conscience. They don't value what inner peace really means. Like, there's a song by Lauryn Hill that it says, it's
How you gonna be
titled,
right if you can't?
I Gotta Find Peace of Mind.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And she just constantly says that, I gotta find peace of mind. I gotta find peace of mind, and she says, he says it's impossible, but I know it's possible, And
Absolutely.
so that comes with having a clear conscience. That comes with walking in integrity. Let me go look. Run it down for y'all real quick, okay? Having a peace of mind or inner peace comes with being honest with yourself and others and about yourself and others. It comes with keeping hope, right? Because we can lose hope. It comes with the humility to be able to say, this is where I'm at. This may be what I'm lacking. This is what I desire. Have that humility. Finding and having the inner peace comes with deciding to be disciplined, and keeping your faith. Okay. It comes with the decision to forgive as well, because the more you hold on to stuff, you're really just killing you. It's poison on the inside.
Hello.
And so
you're preaching real good. You're preaching real. Amen.
Somebody pass the collection plate. So, and also, the inner peace or peace of mind, being courageous, y'all. Have courage even when you're afraid, okay? Even when you're afraid, do go forward and have the courage that at least I'm going to give myself an option to try. Okay. So have courage. Acceptance comes with accepting where you are in your life, who you are at the time, how you got there. Accept all of it, y'all. Accept the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because as the good book says as well, all things work together. So there is no real derailment, actually, because it comes full circle. The real derailment would be if you didn't meet your goal, you didn't meet your purpose, or you didn't affect change in someone else's life. But let me be clear. Whether you do all of the right things or do all of the wrong things, somebody's going to be affected by you. And that's going to be used as a catalyst for them to either be nothing like you or walk the path that you walk. And then they have their own journey as well. So again, all things work together. So acceptance gives you peace of mind when you accept who you are, where you are, what's happened to you, and accept that there's more and greater ahead of you as well. That's a big deal, y'all.
Man,
Acceptance is such a big thing.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how big that is. I just saw a video, Tarah, of a man putting his 14-year-old daughter out. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. So he says, you got to get out of my house, right? You got boys coming over here, you're smoking weed, and you got to get out of my house. And I looked at that, right? And my heart, like, how wrong that is. You know why that's wrong? Let me tell you why that's wrong. Because she landed here knowing nothing. He and her mother allowed her to get the mindset to do the things that she's doing. And now you want to punish her for what you didn't teach her?
Yeah. And that's what's happening, that cycle of abuse. That's a cycle of abuse as well. Neglect is a form of abuse.
But what I said is what you just said.
Yeah.
And we see this. A lot of people in our society don't want to accept the responsibility for the part they play in the demise of our communities and our families and our marriages.
Yeah.
Right? Bad information. See, I was getting that's one of the things about this book, not so much because I wrote it. The information in the book is sound. And it doesn't matter. Here's what I love about the vision I've been given, Tarah. It doesn't matter. A person can still be a Baptist, a Muslim, atheist. They can be
whatever religion,
and they can still practice these same principles.
Yeah, because these principles don't even have, they don't have anything to do with, they don't have anything to do with what your belief system is. No. And so even here, I'm gonna finish this list up, y'all, because y'all thought y'all was gonna get 8. No, we're gonna do all 12, okay? Because having integrity gives you peace of mind because you can sleep at night. You're not lying and then lying to cover up a lie and then trying to remember the first lie that you told to get to the 12th lie that they're on right now. That oneness. Be who you are in public and in private.
Hello.
Be the same person. Now, no, you don't share all parts of you with every single person. However, you are the same person no matter what. And so that gives you peace of mind because you're not putting on a show, y'all. Yes, you might get up and work and be a social media content, whatever, creator. But that's a job that you chose, right? That's work. So if you're building a character in that line of work, then stick to that as a job. In your personal life, be who you are. Okay. But awareness gives you peace of mind too, because being oblivious, oh my gosh, being oblivious is very detrimental. So awareness of things gives you peace of mind because you got to be self-aware. That's the only way to really work on who you are and how you navigate things. But then you got to be aware of people around you because if you have boundaries or things like that that you need to uphold, or you have people who want to come into your life or people who need to exit your life, that awareness gives you peace of mind because you can say, I know who I am and where I am in my life. And I know that comes down to discipline and value and purpose. It all works together.
Exactly.
Okay? And
Go ahead.
Okay. And then willingness gives you peace of mind. Oh, willingness, y'all. This is something that people sleep on so much. It is a key factor of life. Okay.
Come on now.
Not just a principle to inner peace. It's a key factor of life, willingness, because people talk about reciprocity and compromise, and they use that in abusive ways. I'll say they use that in ways to control other people. Like, you need to reciprocate with me. You need to, no, I don't. No, I don't. I need to be willing Okay, I need to be willing in my own life to take a chance. I need to be willing in conversations to allow you to have a different opinion than I have. I need to be willing to understand that you are not me. I am not you. You have a purpose and a gift. I have a purpose and a gift. Willingness, it unlocks your inner peace, but it gives you peace of mind because you know that no matter what, you're able to navigate through different waters. Okay,
Yeah.
you're able to move through different situations, and it's almost a Hakuna Matata. You know, it's almost no worries because you're like, whichever way it goes, I'm willing to either go in that direction or I'm willing to stand on my boundary and say no, thank you.
I'm a
Okay,
cool on side. Not that one.
no, the Lion King. Okay, not Michael Jackson. You just heard mama say, mama side, Michael side. No, see, no. And then gratitude gives you peace of mind because sometimes life is really hard, y'all. We can just say that it's really hard sometimes, and we all deal with things that hurt. We deal with pressure every day. No matter what age you are, no matter what industry you're in, you deal with that pressure. But finding gratitude allows you to pivot your point of view and your perspective. And so that allows you to have inner peace because as much as we can complain, as much as we can cry and kick and scream, there's so much more to be grateful for, even
Wow.
when it's not what you desire. You can still be grateful. I just told you earlier, I said, oh, my car got repossessed and I had joy.
Yeah.
It was a burden lifted. It was not a good thing. It was not a good situation.
But you had peace.
But I had peace and joy.
Yeah.
With it because I'm willing to find another way.
And you accepted, okay, this
and
is
I
where
accepted it.
And but you have the courage to know that you can change it and the hope to know that you can. That's these principles. You can. It's like a waltz, like a 1, 2, 3. Every situation won't require the use of all 12 principles.
Correct.
But you use the ones where they apply.
Yes.
Like a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Yes.
Like a waltz.
Yes. So y'all, if you're looking for you searching for yourself, you searching for your gift, you searching for your purpose, comment below y'all and just say, I gotta find my inner peace.
Yeah.
Comment below and just let us know that, I gotta find my inner peace.
And let me tell you how that inner peace works. For me and for people that I've talked to, when we don't have that inner peace, we can't see. It's like, here's a visual. Weeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Weeds are up. So you can't see the crop because of the grass and the weeds. When you move the grass and the weeds, now you can see who you really are.
Yeah.
You
and
can
that's
discover
like you're saying,
your
you
gift.
can't see the forest through the trees,
right.
But if you would take a step back and be willing
Yes.
to adjust your viewpoint, then and see the bigger picture of it, you can see that whatever was blocking you at first from seeing the bigger picture, now you have that clear view.
And I don't want to get into a conversation about religion, but I will say this: these 12 principles are in alignment with the kingdom message,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is recorded in Matthew 6:33. Seek that first, right?
Yes.
And the kingdom message is a message of self-government.
Yeah.
Right? Because when we govern ourselves, guess what? We don't need policing.
Right.
Right? And so when we govern ourselves, we can, to your point and what you just shared, I can be at peace with other people. See, if I'm full of chaos and confusion, when I come to you, guess what you getting ready to get?
Your chaos and confusion.
Hello?
A headache.
I can't give you something I don't have.
A headache.
Yeah. I can't transmit something I don't have.
Yeah. And so you guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more.
Hey, Tim Stewart, aka Talk Man Talk, speaking to inspire here in St. Louis, Missouri with Tarah and Williams. And we're back.
Welcome back. We in here clowning. I hope y'all are having a good time and enjoying the interview. But welcome back to Tea Time with Tarah, the special with my guest, Timothy Stewart of Talk Man Talk, speaking to inspire. Okay, y'all. We are going to wrap this up, but not before Tim gives you guys another gem to take with you or to apply or think about for yourself or for someone you may know. Okay. And I think we were talking about Uniting for greatness. Is that what we were talking about, Tim?
Yes, united
Uniting for greater good.
for
For
the
the
greater
greater good.
good.
Yeah.
You know, in our society today, especially in our culture, now the principles that I promote and practice and coach, that we practice and coach, they will work for anybody.
Uh-huh.
But in our communities, right,
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest, I guess, enemies
Okay.
of our progress is division.
Uh-huh.
So many different pieces, right,
Yeah.
that are not connected, right?
Yeah.
And we can come up with all kinds of programs, but until we get that common denomination, that foundation,
Mm-hmm.
right? I remember, you may not remember this, but there was a movie, Superman. You remember Superman, right? The movie,
Yeah.
right? Well, one of the first ones, I don't know if it was one, two, three, or four, but a earthquake came and the ground was splitting up,
Mm-hmm.
and Lois Lane had fallen into one of these crevices in her car, and when he showed up, she was dead, right?
Oh.
And so he got mad and he flew into the earth, right? And he went down and found out, went down and where it was broken at the foundation, he pushed it back up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing he fixed,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then all the landfill started filling back up, and then he spun around the earth and brought her back to life and all that.
Uh-huh.
But the point is, you got to go to the foundation.
Yeah.
We have to go to the foundation. We can
Mm-hmm.
teach kids how to be lawyers, doctors, nurses, truck drivers, professional,
Yeah.
um, entertainers, but we've got to go to the foundation. And so unity is what's going to change the conditions in our community.
And I would say too that I've seen I've run into people who all have aligning ideas or programs or things that they offer or community activities or things that they want to do, and I've tried to connect these people, and I'm like, why won't y'all connect? Y'all doing the same thing. Y'all literally are going in the same direction, and so many people are for myself.
Ego,
Yeah, versus for
the greater good.
exactly.
And I've seen that, like when I go to present the program,
Mhm.
that what we offer, if I've had people not call me back. They
Mhm.
know it can help people,
Oh yeah.
but because it may dim the light on them,
Mhm.
they'll knock it. And that is very selfish, right?
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is everybody's not going to work with us, Tara, right?
No.
But what we want to do is we want to connect with those people who really and genuinely and sincerely want to make a difference and want to see our future generations be put in a position that they can make progress. And, my course, Unlock Your Greatness, if you're a parent or educator, and you're working with a talented individual, but they just seem to be going off to the right track or the wrong track, I'm telling you that this course will help get them on the right track, and it can work for any community.
Mhm.
It doesn't, like we said earlier, doesn't matter if what belief system a
Right.
person may want to practice, right?
Yes.
But okay, you have a Muslim, a Christian, a atheist. They come from all these three different groups of
Right.
families, but now they can come together under this common bond
Of universal
of
principles.
universal principles and work together for the greater good.
Yeah. So, if you guys are listening to this too, and you believe that you can partner with Tim or you want to support Tim, Tim is actually trying to build a team of volunteers. A team of volunteers, people who are just willing to get on board and get in line with the mission. Where can they connect with you at in terms of getting information about volunteering and just offering to get in line with this? Because some people just want to support or have a hand in.
Well, and we certainly want people to get on board, but guess what? Let's be realistic. I'm a realist, right?
Hmm.
People ain't gonna do nothing. Very very rare do you find people really just truly sincerely volunteering, and we want people to volunteer. But what we have done is we've created an affiliate program,
Yes.
and so what happens is, say, a person wants to be a part of, the unity and building a happier, healthier, safer communities, we will create your own personal link that you can share it with different people. And then when people purchase the course, and then you will earn some revenue from somebody else purchasing the course. So everybody wins.
Yes.
Everybody
So
wins.
how do they become an affiliate?
So you can go to Unlock Your Greatness. We have a contact us form. And you can fill out that form. That'll come to us. We'll reach out to you. Of course, there's some paperwork we have to do. We
Yes.
have an affiliate
Application.
application. And once we get that documentation completed, then we can just start.
Yes.
And so now it's kind of like the song "Wake Up Everybody" by Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah.
He says, wake up everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to take a unified effort to change the conditions and the climate of what we're seeing in our young generation.
Yeah.
This is a catalyst. I'm not saying that this program is the only program, but I'm saying I haven't heard, here's one of the things I say. We see a lot of people on social media perpetuating the problem.
Yeah.
There's 1,000,001 problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was at IBM, you could not go to your manager with a problem without at least 3 possible solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody says they're talking about the problem and they don't come to the table with a solution, guess what?
They're a problem.
They're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Right. And so we come to the table with solution.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the problem, but it's a root cause.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's where we go to the root.
Yep. So guys, if you are struggling with addiction or self-governance, please, where is this? Free yourself from yourself.
Yes, you can go to freeyourselfromyourself.com. It's also on Amazon. Free Yourself From Yourself, and then type in Tim Stewart and it'll come up. You can go to my website, talkmantalk.com. Of course, you can get a copy from there. And then also unlockyourgreatness.net.
Yes. Unlockyourgreatness.net.
Yeah, it's the course. And so all of my contact information is there. Like you said, we are looking to work with, organizations and partner with, different people and individuals. So for the common good, the greater common good.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate you so much. And the man behind the scenes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Oscar with STLK Productions.
Yeah, Oscar. Very, very great studio, man. I feel comfortable in here. I feel like, hey, is Obama coming in here next? Right. I love the work that you do.
Thank you.
I feel honored to have the opportunity to work with you, and be on the same kind of mission and share a similar vision. So I'm looking forward for us this next decade. Watch what we do.
Oh yeah.
Watch what we do.
Oh yes, watch. And y'all keep an eye out for us. Don't forget to visit unlockyourgreatness.net and fill out the contact form to become an affiliate. You can check out what I do. Y'all know this is Tea Time with Tarah, this special. Okay, but you can connect with me on social media at Stalk Your Destiny. You can head over to my YouTube channel at Stalk Your Destiny. And you can also visit if you want to know anything about connecting with me in terms of what I do as far as a coach or any of those services, as well as products. You can visit www.stalkyourdestiny.com, or you can head over to www.stan.store/stalk your destiny. Now, y'all, it's not stock your destiny. It's STALK your destiny. Why? Because stalkers never quit, y'all.
Yes.
So did you have any final things you wanted to say, Tim?
No, just want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to have this conversation. And, I'm looking forward to us, collaborating more, and even, reaching more people. So thank you once again.
And thank you so much for being, not only just being a guest on the show, but for what you do in the community. And for also choosing me to interview you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's only one
'Cause
of you.
it's only one of me, but I love it. But I love it. Okay, so thanks so much for doing that. Y'all, he flew all the way to the Lou to
Yes.
sit here,
Yeah.
to sit here with me. So I appreciate that. That speaks volumes, and thank you for that. And you guys just remember that everything you want to become, you already are. And you have a voice and it needs to be heard. Okay. Check out all this information, run this video back, hit up the likes, hit up the
Faith comes
comments,
by
you
hearing.
guys, and just connect with us and make the changes that you need to make in your life to go forward to affect positive change in somebody else's life because it takes one of us to affect another one of us to affect another one of us. And so we can do it one step at a time. Until next time, have a great day.
Peace.
Bye.